Hey everyone, Jason Ross here. It's another season of the Stingers Up Sacramento State Football Podcast. Excited for the 2025 year. As you can see, the new look Hornets are out there. Training camp has been going on. The season is almost here. But we thought in the first episode, a lot of changes have gone on with the team and the coaching staff. So we thought we'd learn about the new coaches and about this year's squad. So we start up front with the defensive line. All right, one of the new members of the Hornet coaching staff, defensive line, Ed McGilvra. Coach, first off, welcome to Sacramento. How's it been so far?
I've loved it so far. Yeah, the weather's been great. The people have been very welcoming. Me and my girlfriend Shay, we live in East Sac over on 48th.
So you're getting comfortable.
We're right here. I get to, as early as we wake up, I got a short drive and get to stay close to home, and but it's been great. Yeah, we love it.
You've been coaching a long time, I know, but is she comfortable with those coaching hours?
She is. Yeah, she is. She works maybe harder than I do.
Wow. Okay.
She runs her own business, so it kind of is a good balance.
Yeah.
She's busy, I'm busy, and then we get to come home and be together.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you've got a pretty amazing background. You've mentored and helped get guys to the NFL and work with NFL guys. How did Coach Marion land you? How did you become a Hornet?
And I met Coach Marion at UC Davis at a camp. I think it was in 2015. And I think he was a GA at ASU, if I remember correctly. And he had same person, same energy, like just never changed. And I remember we just kind of stayed close, kept connected on social media. And, I know through his process of moving up and going to different places, I always reached out and was like, happy for you. If you're ever a head coach, let's make something happen. And I think a couple years ago, I reached out and was like, hey, I really want to get my feet wet in the Division I world. And if you're ever a head coach, I'd love to chop it up. And he got the job. And a day later, I was bugging him. And he called me and he was like, why should I hire you? And, I just right there just spit something off. And he was like, all right, well, I'll either put you in a chat or I won't. And then hung up. And the next morning I woke up, I was in the staff chat, and I was like, I guess I got the job.
Wow, you wowed him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So that's a change, though. You were doing this in a way where you've coached at JUCO in different spots, and individually, but now, why did you want to kind of back in the team in the D1 mode, like you said?
I feel like I've always just been trying to find my way in. I love junior college football. I feel like it's the last real form of development in football with the transfer portal and how things are moving now. And then I looked at this process as almost being a junior college now, because the way, Power 4 programs and Group of 5 programs kind of feast off of FCS talent. And you might not have guys for very long. And I feel like I've done that for so long. I'm so used to turning over rosters and bringing guys in for a short period of time and helping them move up or go to a different place to better themselves. And I feel like this was a great time to get in.
That's present day college football. How is that, though, as a coach, as a teacher? You kind of have to get it quickly. Your system and your principles. Is that a challenge?
I think the biggest challenge is getting the room to do it together, because everybody's so brand new and there's a level of trust involved. But I've been doing it, like I said, I'm so used to doing it. It's almost second nature to me that nothing's really changed from the junior college level. Now there's just there's more at risk for these guys because it's a bigger level. But yeah.
Well, let's get into the nuts and bolts of your room. So your D-line, it's important to any football team. You guys have been watching a lot of fall ball. You're getting after your offense and creating pressure. What do you think you have in your group?
I think I have a group that's physical and violent at the point of attack. And it's an older room, so a lot of them have a lot of playing time under their belt. They play really hard all the time. I don't have to give them motivational speeches every day to try to get them to play football. They actually love it. And they're willing to do the dirty work and play the run. And they're open-minded. They all want to learn. I think they're really excited. And more importantly, they just want to win. Like these guys they all came here for the same goal, and that was to win a championship and to just try to go 1-0 every day. They value this game, and they know, time is I talk about this all the time. The most valuable thing in the world is time. And these guys know they don't have that much time to play this game. So they value it and they come to work every day. And I'm really proud of these guys because, they inspire me to work harder and coach harder.
You can do so much in film and on the sidelines or on the field during practice. But when we're in games and when games are happening, good moments, bad moments, there a leader or two that you're expecting? Like Xavier's been here a long time. Is there a name or two that Hornet fans will be like, that's the guy that's kind of keeping the D-line together?
Yeah, Xavier Williams has really stood out in his leadership. He's a natural leader. He doesn't care if people don't like him or not. He likes to take guys with him, and I think that's a quality a lot of guys don't have. Just naturally, he has that every single day. And then a guy we brought in, Melvin Swindle from Eastern Michigan. He's the older guy in the room. He's got a kid back home. He's doing this, for a lot of reasons, but he comes in and he just has this uncle energy around him where everybody likes him. He's funny but serious. He comes to work, and he's been pulling guys with him too. And he's played over 500, 600 snaps at the FBS level. So guys listen to him, and he's also a natural leader. And then the younger guy, Jalen McGlothen, I think I said that right. He's only a 19-year-old young man, and he played a little bit as a freshman. He was part of the staff that recruited him last. But I mean, with his play, he's not necessarily a vocal leader, but with everything he does, as far as he's one of our better guys, with his play and what he does in the weight room and what he does every day, how he holds himself accountable. It's been awesome to see it on that level.
Do you have targets, goals at all, numbers that you want to hit, or things that like these are our bullet points as a D-line we need to do on a day-to-day basis? I
think everything just points back towards winning, right? We just want to be the best group every single day. Don't want to be the weakest link. We just want to win. With winning, comes those statistical goals that you want to hit. I think anytime you can be effective in sacking the quarterback, pressuring the quarterback, TFLs, stopping the run. If you can do all those things, it points back to winning. So we want to lead the Big Sky in all those categories, which will all come back to winning. And then I want to help these guys be, all conference players, all Americans if they have that in them. And then if they have an opportunity to make it to the NFL, with my experience, I want to try to guide them and help them get there.
You're the right guy for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Last thing for you then. As you look at the defense as a whole, you got the guys behind them, but you're all a part of it. What have you thought about the Hornet defense as you guys get ready to embark on the year?
I think they've done a really good job of adapting to what's new, right? It's a brand new defensive staff. Us coaches are trying to learn it. We're trying to learn it on the fly as well too. So, they've just come to work every day and they haven't complained about everything, even though some things might be fluid. And they just adapt and they move and they want to win. And Coach Marion's created that environment. They have a lot of heart in everything they're doing. They're very intense. They have high intelligence of the game, high football IQ. And then, they love football. And those are really everything we want to hit in this program. So I think this defense can take us as far as we want to go. And then going against Coach Marion and that offensive staff every single day has challenged us as coaches to be prepared, I think, a lot more than you would be at this point going into a season. So I think we're really ready for anything.
Awesome. All right, Coach Jake Vang, part of the edge rushing group, or that's your room on the defense, your assignment. Welcome to Sacramento, and let's start with how you got here. How did Coach Marion land you?
Yeah, so I was working at Colorado State with Coach Patton last year. Once Coach Patton got the DC job here, immediately thought that this was a really good option. Sacramento State came out to Fort Collins in, I think, 2022, and really took it to us.
Yeah.
So, really great program. Had a lot of really good success recently. Obviously have been built the right way, and so excited to get out here.
I didn't realize you were part of that squad.
Yeah.
That's have some of the Hornets reminded you of that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of the older guys, there's no doubt.
Yeah. You knew about the Hornets then, but when you got here, is it kind of lined up with what you thought Sacramento would be?
Yeah, it's awesome being in a major city. You get to do all the exciting things. Got to go see my Thunder play the Kings. Go downtown, go to Morton's, all that good stuff. So excited to get to be around that. I've lived in smaller cities a lot lately, so being able to coach in major cities is awesome.
Now, tell me you didn't pick up the Thunder just this year.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Yeah.
When you're from the Midwest, you root for whoever the closest one.
Gotcha, and they were the closest one.
Yeah, I grew up in Wichita, so I'm a Chiefs and a Thunder guy. So I'm never going to have it as good as I have it right now.
Yeah, you have it well. So, yeah, that was quite a year.
Yeah.
MVP, finals MVP. I mean, it's a good run.
Yeah, I might. Yeah. Next son might be named Shea. We'll see.
We got to start converting you to the Kings, though. The longer you're here, we'll convert you to the Kings. So tell us about your defense, your guys, your edge rushers. Important to create havoc. It looks like you have some guys that have done that in camp. Who are some guys that Hornet fans are going to be watching this year and they go, man, that edge rushing is creating a problem?
Yeah, obviously Cashola coming back. So Cash has been really big for us. Veteran presence, guy who tries to do everything right. Really, really stout in the run game, and then has really gotten better as a pass rusher too. Really exciting to see him come along. Dylan Hampson is another guy who came in from San Jose, and we're expecting him to play a lot for us this year. Similar type of role that he can kind of do everything in that way, but the guys who have a lot of juice are Devin and Chris. They obviously provide a lot of juice off the edge, all rushing in different ways, all creating havoc in different ways, based off their body type, all that good stuff. So they do a really good job, though, of getting to the quarterback, right? Yeah. So, I mean, we've done a great job in the last couple scrimmages of really trying to get back there, get off the ball, and really trying to challenge those guys to see how fast they can play, right? Don't want to always just be trying to catch stuff. We want to go be enforcing our will on the opponent.
Yeah. So with so many guys sounding like that, you'll have the luxury of playing. How are you reading, like, is there a number of snaps in a row, or you're getting to know the guys like, oh, they look a little bit gassed on this play? How are you going to read that?
Yeah, so the thing we've used the most is I've always liked to go out and whoever starts is going to ride until you feel like the next group has to go. And then the next group grows and the next group goes. It's not a set 4. It's not a set 5. It's everybody out there contributing, right? And trying to get everybody's feet wet early is a big deal, right? So you always want to try to rotate them in as soon as possible, but I'm a true believer in if you can play, you should play, right? If you prove to us that you have the ability to play, then you should play out there on Saturdays.
Yeah, and obviously there's all the elements are important, whether it's technique, speed, strength. Does one outweigh the other? Like if you've got a rusher that timing, like what would you say is the number one attribute?
No.
Or is there one?
The two things that always show up are your speed and power. So some guys are speed guys, some guys are power guys, some guys use a combination of both. But those two things, when you're rushing off the edge, really contribute to each other, right? So if I'm a really big power guy, I'm actually going to win more of my rushes with speed. If I'm a speed guy, I'm actually going to win more of my rushes with power, because that's not how our opponents are identifying us, right? So you're really trying to use those, and I always talk to them about we're trying to throw our fastballs. We want to throw fastballs, and then here's our changeups, right? What are we always trying to get to? What are our options?
Yeah, and obviously targeting the quarterback, but how important are they going to be in the run stop too?
Yeah, we have to set the edge, right? Most important thing we do so that we can pass rush is set the edge, stop the run. Also guys in our position, we're going to be out there, be read in open space a lot. So just being a good athlete out there in space and able to play both at times, being able to make plays, make decisions quickly, all contribute to being able to get us to play a little bit faster.
Do you target, there's chances for edge rushers to get tips, to sacks, scoops and score? Like, are there targets you're trying to get from your group to goals to reach?
Yeah, you'd love to say we're going to get 5 sacks every single game, But honestly, the way the inside guys are rushing too, like we're going to be racing each other to the quarterback. So I try to do a good job of we're going to tally all the production. So no matter what it is, whether it's scoop and scores, it's sacks, it's fumbles, it's tackles, running to the ball, all the positive things, we're going to tally all that up. So that when you're watching a game, it's not just one thing, because you can contribute to a play without there ever being a stat sheet, especially at D-line, at edge, right? So those guys who don't have a lot of stats, you might have a linebacker who had 12 tackles in the game, and you would say he played a great game, but I bet the tackle in front of him was playing great too, because he was probably keeping dudes off of him, right? Yeah. So it all goes in together.
Yeah. All right. Last one for you. I always like to ask about your other side of the ball, your offense, which soon you'll be done facing them. But what have you thought of the Hornet offense this year?
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome every single day going against the go-go, because you're able to actually go out and experience all these different looks. You get all these different looks, all these different plays, all these things that make us better because we're able to go and practice against it, right? Some other teams, like a traditional air raid team, for example, you wouldn't get the same kind of looks. We get everything. We get all the personnels. We get every read. For us, it's great because it prepares us for game week. It prepares us for what we're going to see when we get there, when we get to Brookings, et cetera.
Well, it's almost here. Welcome to Sacramento. We'll get you out and rooting for the Kings in one of these games.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Awesome. All right, Hornet fans, he's back. Coach Brown, you can't get away from this place?
Yeah, the back in California is great. I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, how did it happen for you? Because you were here back in the 07, 08 year as a Hornet. And you bounced around Cal Poly. We've seen you in the Big Sky. But what's your connection with Coach Marion?
So it's a funny story, actually. So when I coached with Marshall Spurbeck at Foothill College, Coach Marion was actually a player. I didn't coach him, but he was on the team. I think that was 06 maybe, right before I came here, actually, or 05 or something like that. But so he was a player on the team, and over the years we stayed in touch, and we actually coached against each other when I was at UTEP and he was at UNLV, and so yeah.
I'm sure back then you had no idea that he would be a head coach in the future, or did you?
No, not really. I mean, he'll tell you himself he was a lost soul back then and corrected everything. But me and him had a good relationship back then when he was a player, and carried over to when he started coaching. And I'm proud of him. He's done great things with his life. He really has.
That's awesome. So what drew you back though? Kind of that chance to be with him and back here, and
being back in California and talking with him and his vision for the program and where he wants it to go. And I love California and spent most of my time here as a coach, and I grew up in California, so my family lives in San Luis Obispo area. So perfect. It's great to be back home.
Can you believe it though? Some things are exactly the same, but then, there are portables. The Broad may have just been there. You guys have Folsom Hall and that. It's different, isn't it?
We were the first staff in the Broad.
Okay.
Yeah. My first year we were in the trailers.
Right.
Yep. In the where the well is now.
Yeah.
And then we moved over to the Broad, and obviously now we're over here, which it's great to have our own facility. And it's
and
a lot of
visions
space
of
and
maybe FB. There's big plans. It takes some time, but it's amazing. Isn't it?
For sure. There's from 07 and 08 when I was here, there's a lot of change.
Yeah,
a lot of change. You look out, you sit in one of our staff meetings, you see how many people are actually working here.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
where we had the full-time staff, 10 coaches, and maybe a couple support people when I was here. So there's probably a 13, 14 person staff, and now there's probably 40 people out there in the Army. You know?
Well, let's talk about your linebackers. Important to any team. It's going to be important to this team. Hornet fans know Derek Houston's back. There's other names that they've seen, but tell us a little bit about your group and what you expect from them.
Yeah, Derek's obviously the bell cow of the group. He's a returning starter. His team just voted him captain. So obviously there's mutual respect between coaches and players with him. He's the kind of guy that, making sure the group is on time, making sure the group is doing things the right way. And, on top of that, he's a great player too. He played a little bit last year, but he wasn't a full-time starter last year. And, this year we're expecting big things out of him, and he's really stepped up to the plate. So he's obviously the leader of our group. Then we have a bunch of guys that are kind of fighting for that second spot right now. Oscar Moore, who played for me at UTEP, he was a safety at UTEP, and we kind of moved him to weak side linebacker for us. He's doing a good job. He's very athletic. Matt Eskridge, who's a returning starter, junior college kid from Riverside, has a lot of upside. Diego Davis from Santa Rosa Junior College. Fata, who's a local kid from here. We're kind of moving him around a little bit. He's playing outside linebacker and inside linebacker, so he's not progressing quite as fast as the other guys because he's doing both. So it's hard to do both. But I really like our group, and Jacob Jones transferred from Cal Poly, so there's a lot of guys in the mix.
Yeah.
And the good thing is there's not much of a drop off.
What do you want from your linebackers? Because some may be better at stopping the run, some have to cover, some have to do, and they have to do everything. But what are your expectations of a linebacker in general?
Obviously the number one thing is you got to stop the run. You got to be physical in the run game. You got to understand run schemes, where you're fitting, who's blocking you, those kind of things. But you got to, like you said, you got to be a complete player. You got to be able to blitz. You got to be able to drop in coverage. You got to be able to play man coverage. You got to be able to do a lot of different things.
Obviously you need everything, but is tackling the most important? Speed, all of it?
Yeah, to me in the game now compared to what it was, even when I was here before, you got to be smart. There's so much offense you got to defend nowadays. Just look at our offense here. It has triple option, and it has spread offenses, it has veer offense, and it has all kinds of stuff. So you got to be intelligent to understand schemes and where people are trying to attack you. And, so the number one attribute I look for is intelligence.
Yeah.
Number two is physical. And number three is, athleticism. So I kind of go in that order. at linebacker. So if you're in the right place at the right time, then you're in good shape.
Yeah. Is that, I know that's your read from the sideline or the booth, but is that going to Derek and he's kind of conveying that, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it'll work, and I'm in the booth this year. So, I've pretty much been in the booth my whole career, really, as a coach. Last year I was not, but it's one of those things where that position, you have to talk to them between every series. So like I told our equipment guy, I was like, hey, we need the phone set up on the sideline. We need it in the office or in the booth right next to me. Cause I right when they come off the field, they'll go to the phone
right away
and talk to me.
Yeah.
Good, bad, ugly, whatever.
And how much do you want from Derek? Let's say like, okay, I know you're saying that, but this is what they're doing. Or are you guys, you're new to this year with him, but you feel like that's something you'll have pretty good energy together? Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're already starting to work on like, hey, this is how I think, and this is the kind of things that you need to present to the rest of the linebackers and things like that. So, well, it's gonna be fun. I'm glad you're back. Yeah, it's great. Thoughts on the season, just a final nutshell as we get ready to embark on the 25 season? Yeah, I mean, I've been in this league a long time. I know it's very good, very competitive league. I know some of our coaching staff here has been in the league as well, but I'm excited. I'm excited to beat Davis again. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's the right thing to say. I think my record overall, I've been in the Causeway 2 games and the Golden Horseshoe 10 games. I think I'm 8-4. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll keep that 1-1 here at Sac. All right. Well, got to get back over 500. Yeah, exactly. All right. Welcome back, Coach. Yeah, appreciate it. So here we are, new cornerbacks coach, Darren Walls. Coach, welcome to Sacramento. Thank you. How's are you comfortable? Are you fitting in, all that stuff? Yeah, it's been good. Yeah. Coming from New York, I can't complain about the weather. So yeah, you got a lucky summer, by the way. This has been awesome. I don't know if it's supposed to be hotter or what, but the mornings are cool, the nights are cool, the day is a little hot, but I like it during football season. So it's been good. I want to backtrack for you personally, a professional NFL player. Obviously, you had the background there. And when did you get the coaching bug? When did you want to do this? Yeah, so my last year in the NFL was about, I think, 15 or 16. And then I kind of was just working out, training, seeing if I was going to land anywhere. I didn't. And then one of my friends was like, do you want to help coach 7-on-7? So I was like, yeah, I'll help. And then I got into it. And then I kind of realized, like, I knew I wanted to help, like, younger athletes. I didn't know in what capacity. And then once I got into that, I kind of knew like my calling was coaching. Mm-hmm. And so it went from 7-on-7 to being a defensive coordinator in high school and then working my way up to the college ranks. So in your background and run through all the different levels of playing, do you feel like there's a coaching voice that's coming from Pop Warner, high school, your college coach, NFL? Who are you channeling? I mean, there's probably a few. I mean, Rex Ryan was the latest guy, and him and his defensive philosophy, and what he's done over his career. But like my position coach at Notre Dame, Corwin Brown, every time I do something or see something and I say something, I remember him and what he's taught me and what he's told me, and so that's one of the coaches that really like shaped the way I coach and shaped the way I think. And then obviously playing Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie have been there were guys that shaped me into be the player I was as far as like being technical and just learning the game of football. Yeah. So, and how about your connection with Coach Marion? How did he land you? Yeah, so I've known Coach Marion since high school. I mean, he's from Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh. So that year when I was debating on. That was actually 2011 when he actually trained me. So it was the lockout year in the NFL. And so I went back home. I was back home and training. And then he was like, I'll just train you. And I was like, all right, cool. So I trained with them over that. I guess it was the spring and then going into the summer. And then I got the call from the Falcons in 2011. So I've known him for a while. Every time he's come back home to Pittsburgh to recruit, we would link up and go to dinner, and we kept in contact over the years. So I wondered if you ever could envision he'd be the head coach at Sac State. You'd be with him in California at Sacramento State. Never thought of that. I mean, there was a lot of times I was like, hey, man, can you give me a job where you are? And he was like, man, when I get my head coaching job, I'm going to hire you. And he did. And, he's been loyal ever since. I've met him and known him. And, that's the kind of connection that, I think, again, being from Pittsburgh, that obviously is a big deal for us. What's your first camp like here? Watching him, watching you do that? Like, what's it been like? It's been intense. This is the most amount of like reps that I've been a part of with players actually getting the reps. We've done a good job with just being super detailed and intentional about the work that we do.
Coach Marion is obviously the go-go, the offense, but his personality and just himself is everything is fast. And so, one thing I've learned about him is I've known this, but he's a real football guy. He loves football, and everything that he do is for the players. Mm-hmm. And so, it's been great. The training camps I've been a part of as a player and as a coach, this one was probably the most intense.
Okay. And like in a physical way, time consuming, like everything all encompassing?
Yeah, I think we get a lot of things done in a short period of time. And so, we got a lot of players and we got a lot of guys that we want to see. Yeah. And so a lot of reps that, and their offense is going fast. And so like an intensity standpoint of, we're getting a lot of reps, we're getting a lot of work, but also like it's done in a short period of time.
So in your room at Cornerbacks, and you played it, what makes a good corner?
I think the biggest thing is being confident. We got a lot of guys who I feel like lack confidence in the past. So just building that confidence up in some of the guys. But to me, that's the biggest thing. And obviously being able to run. You can't play corner if you can't run.
Right.
So we want guys that can run and can change direction. But just mentally being locked in and focused on situational football. I think that's the biggest thing. The guys that we got, they're gaining confidence and they're understanding football a little bit more.
Yeah, watching you guys in camp, it's been a fun back and forth. Offense may have a good play and there's some talking.
Oh, yeah.
Defense has a good play, some good talking. But it sounds like that's something you want to encourage because if that builds your confidence, then let it go.
Yeah, the biggest thing for us, and I tell the guys all the time, take chances in practice. See what you can do, see what you can't do. And I think they've taken heed to that. We've made a lot of big plays. I charted it over the camp. We probably had, 12 interceptions over camp and then like 60 PBUs. And so, for us, obviously, like I said, a lot of reps, obviously that is, numbers are numbers, but, our guys are believing in themselves, believing in the system and just trusting the coaching.
Are there numbers you want them to hit in the season or are you just like, let's just play our best football?
Yeah, I think it's just being smart. Mm-hmm. Obviously there's times to take chances and there's times not to. And I think, we're on the verge of understanding that a little bit more. Like I said, you mentioned J.O., he's been a leader of the group. Ricky Lee's coming along. And, those guys challenge each other. It's good when the group can take ownership, and they're doing a good job of just making sure that they held each other accountable.
Yeah, there are some names, like you said, that we've seen before, the Hornets, but some new guys. Like, who are some of the names you expect Hornet fans to see making plays for you?
We got a good group. I think Ricky Lee's coming along. He's transferred in over when we first got here, and then a guy that we needed to build his confidence up a little bit through injuries and some things he's dealt with in the past. But I think he's a guy that's shown in a lot of good flashes in training camp. So him, Jason Oliver, we talked about already. Elias Melican had a really good camp. He's developing that confidence that you want. Adam Taylor's coming along. He's a young guy that I'm excited about. He's probably the most athletic guy we got in the group. He can run. He's quick. He's athletic. And then Warren Smith transferring in too. Warren's done a good job of challenging these guys. He's a bigger corner. Probably the biggest corner we got size-wise. But, he brings a different physicality to the game that we like.
Yeah, and I've seen, a couple camp interceptions, pick sixes. Like you not only are getting breakups or tips or interceptions, but guys can do something with it when they get it.
That's the goal. We play football, so we want the ball. I told them all the time, guys, most people don't remember PBUs. They remember picks, though. And pick sixes at that. So we want to score. We want to set our offense up to score. And, that's being a complete team.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of excitement for the season. Welcome to Sacramento. We wish you nothing but the best and look forward to it.
Oh, yeah, likewise. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's spend some time learning about the Hornet safeties with Coach Kenyon. First off, I've been telling everybody this. Welcome to Sacramento. How's Sacramento treating you?
Sacramento's been great. Really enjoying everything that it has to give. I'm a local guy myself, growing up in the Bay Area, so familiar with Sac, but really been enjoying being up here and being a part of the Hornet Nation.
You've had some taste in college, but a lot of success in high school at De La Salle. How did this transformation and how did Coach Marion get you here?
So I know Coach Marion for a while, and we've talked a number of times about different opportunities that he might have been up for, and if he got them, that I was someone that he would look to, bring on, and it worked out, this time with Sac State. And for me, just being at the college level, the transition, everything has been really smooth. Honestly, I feel like at De La Salle, we play such an intense schedule where it's kind of on the same, I would say, kind of like playing line as like a college, you know. And then having a chance last year to coach at the JUCO level was, you know, obviously not the same, but it was different from high school, but not quite the same as being D1. So it's kind of that middle ground.
We've heard a lot of the same themes about Coach Marion. He must have had a heck of a Rolodex because everybody kind of has stayed in touch with him, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, he does a really good job. As everyone knows, he's a really good recruiter. So he's very much in touch with a lot of people. He knows who to get in touch with. And, you know, for me, being a high school coach, having a 7-on-7 program, running a strength and conditioning, you know, I had my own training company. So I had a lot of things going on to where, you know, he definitely tapped in with me, you know, a decent amount. But, you know, like I said, from that perspective, yes, he does a really good job of, you know, keeping in contact with people.
So you have the safeties. In your words, what makes, like, as you're recruiting and looking forward to bringing in future safeties, but the safeties you have now, what makes a good safety?
I would say, to me, playmaking ability is number one. I mean, as a safety, I would say, as a football player in general, like, if you can make plays, you can find your way on the field. And then from there, you know, there's other intangibles that are important. I mean, from the safety position, it's like the quarterback of the defense in relevance to the offense, right? So we have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to be quick on our feet. We have to be smart. You know, so looking for those type of things, you know, and then also with the type of defense that we run, speed is definitely something that is a big plus. And then just for my own taste and I like physicality. So, yeah.
Some big hitters.
Yes.
Yeah. And Hornet fans are going to see some people they're familiar with. Davion McKenzie, Koa Kui, Caleb Higgins all back. What has that meant to your room to have some guys that have played some snaps for this university?
I think it's been good. It's been really good. Especially like I said with Tavion, you know, having a chance to watch him and Higgins on film last year. I know Koa got hurt. And having a chance to watch them actually playing some games, you know, with Higgins early in the year, he got hurt. And then with Tavion as a freshman last year, getting in and getting reps as like a backup. So, you know, those guys have been really big to the room as far as experience goes. But, you know, for me, my job has been to push them, you know, and try to really get them to take that next step. Koa kind of as a dark horse, I would say, in the room in some ways, you know, being a walk-on and not having the reps last year. He's done everything you could ask for a player like him, and really put himself in a really good position this year. And he's been super instrumental in the room on the defensive side and also in pushing the other guys not to get content. So
has he been one of the leaders of that group, or do you have multiple guys that you feel can kind of, you know, police them when you're not there?
Yeah, I would say Higgins and Koa definitely have been the leaders of the room. They definitely earned my trust, you know, to be able to, you know, help keep everybody in check and to do the right things. So, yeah, for sure, those two. Hoping to bring more guys along in the room, but those two stand out as leaders right now.
Yeah, how do you find that balance when you got some guys that you're going to need to play, but then sometimes, like, you got some young guys I know that you kind of want to get there too. How do you know when to trust them? And you're like, well, you got to learn sometimes by fire.
To me, you know, I think, like I said, there are some young guys with talent that I think could kind of push the envelope in the room. Maturity is a big thing. I mean, when you come in as a freshman, either you're ready or you're not right away. And right now, our freshmen, they're just not, I think, mature enough. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. You know, just some of them are, you know, mental maturity. Some of them are physical maturity. And then some of them are just, you know, they're just freshmen, you know, like, so it's kind of a blend of all of that. And as far as getting those guys on the field or getting them opportunities, when it makes sense, if it makes sense, then it'll happen. And if not, then, you know, it's a man's game.
Yeah, for sure. And you've been around a long time, so you've seen success, like we said before, at De La Salle. When you look at the Hornets as you get ready to start the 25 season, what do you think? What do you think the possibilities are of this squad?
We have talent. So that's something that sticks out. We have talent, we have guys, and we have the ability to have a good season. The things that we've really kind of done, I would say this off-season and summer and fall camp is try to bring everyone together, try to get everyone on the same, you know, the same wavelength. And I feel like so far so good. Until you like really get in the fire and you have conflict, you never really know. So for us, I mean, we're going to continue to bring guys together and do that. And we'll see, like I said, how we react to something not going our way in the first game. I think will kind of set the tone for where we are.
Yeah.
But it's our job as coaches, to make sure that we bring this thing along, we get everybody prepared and ready to handle those moments. So ultimately, anything that doesn't work out will kind of be back on us as coaches.
Well, it's almost here.
It
We're
is.
excited for it. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Here we are, new special teams coach, Coach Wenger. Welcome to Sacramento. How's Sacramento been treating you?
Sacramento has been excellent.
Yeah.
I really love football. There's a lot of football here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good.
Can I get the story of the megaphone? I've seen it at camp. Everybody hears you.
That's the goal, right?
Yes.
So obviously with special teams, you got to deal with 65, 80 yards at a time. And as you can tell, we're in week, 2.5 at camp, and I still have a voice.
You do.
All right. So early on in my career, we would get to day 3 and I'd have no voice, and then I couldn't do my job. So the funny thing is too, I told my wife that this is the first time that megaphone so using the megaphone and voice went out early in camp. But if I didn't have the megaphone to back me up, I'd be in bad shape right now. So it's just, honestly, people laugh about it and poke fun, but it is probably the most important thing for me to do my job, to teach and get people squared away.
And they can hear you. I honestly, I've heard it. Everybody's seen it, but
Hope you didn't hear anything bad.
No, but why don't other coaches use it now? Are other coaches jealous of you?
I think people might be intimidated. I don't know. That thing, it's a little heavy.
Yeah.
I always joke.
It's a big one. You didn't go for the small one. Yeah.
No, we're doing everything big here.
Yeah. Well, tell us how you got here. What's your connection with Coach Marion? How did you land as a Hornet?
To be honest with you, I did not know Coach Marion before I got here.
Okay.
I think just through the coaching network and just kind of seeing names, stuff like that, I was always aware of him and always just kind of followed from afar, being a football junkie.
Yeah.
And when I was on the market and put myself back out there, it was literally a connection was made, and we got on the phone. And my first question was, what's the commitment towards being good on special teams? And he laid things out for me, and then
it lined up.
Yeah, they got to learn that, we're both from Pittsburgh and we both love football, and we're two very different people, but like deep down inside, we're like, there's like a serious connection there. So I was like, I want to work for this guy. Seemed great.
Where's your background in being the football junkie? How'd this all lay out for you like this?
I don't know how the junkie part started, but first job was at Rutgers way back in the day, coach Division III, coach high school. Was lucky enough to get on as a GA at Western Michigan, and then I got promoted to special teams coordinator. And then I was there for 4 years, and then 7 years at the University of Minnesota.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess the junkie probably came with the nature of the job.
Yeah. And then special teams, I know there's so much to it because it's not, it's field goal, it's kickoff. There's a lot of elements to it. How taxing is it because you're not just coaching kickers and snappers and punter, but it's the coverage unit, the return unit. How all encompassing is that for you?
I think you nailed it. It's not just people see the play, and a lot of people turn away when it's a punt in the NFL. That's an event for us, and it's greatest way to have an impact, whether it's positive or negative, on the football game. And I always say that like special teams kind of found me, and it wasn't going to let me get away. And I've just been obsessed with that part of the game for all these years. But the fact that I get to like touch every little pocket of the team, 30 seconds with the O-line, minute and a half with the guys that, catch the balls that are in the returner spot, and then, the specialists and, guys on the coverage units. I get to, I guess besides the head coach, I get to do the most coaching in the smallest amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy.
And so much of it, like you said, people either look away or they look, okay, there's the returner. I'm looking at that, but you need the blocking. The guy that gets the tackle, but you needed other things how many moving parts are there on let's just say a punt? Just so many moving parts, right?
You told me about 10 minutes, so that's a really open-ended question. Yeah. I could go all day, but no, you're right. It's like, people, the clips that go viral with the big return or the trick play, but the dirty work that has to get done to actually block and get in front of people and, understand leverage and angles and go out there and compete. I mean, that's what makes a big play happen.
Right.
So, I mean, that's where most of the time is spent and focused on.
Yeah.
Is the things that people don't see on the TV screen.
Right. And then I imagine picking guys you're going to have, not the returners, but the guys that are like, hey, might use him as a linebacker, but we also need him because he can play special teams. I'm sure those are the kind of guys you're also trying to seek
Absolutely.
out.
That's always the challenge. Obviously spent a lot of time developing and evaluating the returner spot, but I mean, it's the other 10 guys that make it go. You got the best player in the world back there, but Deion Sanders doesn't play anymore. You're not going to make 10 guys miss.
Yeah.
So it's the guys that do the dirty work that you really get most of my time.
Yeah. And then lastly, your overall group that you got some experience coming back, certainly some guys that are new to the Hornets, but what is the value of having someone like Cal, let's say, as a returning punter? What's the value of having someone that's had a lot of reps as a kicker?
Yeah, no, that's invaluable too. And Cal, obviously with a unique background coming over from Australia and, started off his career really strong. And when I was looking at the job, one of the first things I did was kind of look at the room of specialists and figure out who was still here. And the fact that Cal had experience, has the Australian background, that definitely piqued my interest for sure. Having him back there with a lot of reps under his belt makes a massive difference. But obviously, there's changes from what previous staff did to what we do. But I mean, if you want to talk about Cal, I could talk for 45 minutes. But the biggest thing, starting with Cal and the rest of the group, is my number one priority with the specialists are like, I want good human beings. Like we'll find talent, we'll find and ways to develop them and put them in good spots. But like we have a great group of people.
Yeah.
And they really care about each other and love each other. Like the chemistry in the specialist room is like my number one priority. And if you mess with that, the megaphone's probably going to come out. But and Cal's, he's been a leader in that regard. More than I could. I mean, he's done above and beyond what I would expect from him.
And the last part for you, the returning part of it in camp, I've seen a lot of different guys out there. That's a good thing because they all look like you've got some good athletes to choose from.
Yeah, no, we do. I mean, with the way Coach Marion and the recruiting staff have worked their tails off to bring in some really talented, great players that, obviously can run. We do have a stable. And the hard part is, figuring out the combination of guys. And, a lot of guys can run with the ball in their hands. Yeah. That's not the hard part. Before we want a punt returner, we want a punt catcher. And then the return after that is that's kind of recruiting.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to teach them how to catch the ball and how to make decisions. And then after that, it's like recruiting department, you did a great job finding this guys pretty fast.
Yeah. Is the megaphone coming on the road? Are you bringing that with you? To be determined?
Yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know. Probably, right. I'd rather not.
Okay.
But,
we'll see how it goes.
Whatever it takes is kind of the motto.
Awesome. Welcome to Sacramento.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Cool. Here we are with the defensive coordinator, Marcus Patton. Coach, welcome to Sacramento.
Thank you.
How's that sound? How's it feel? How's it been being in Sacramento?
It's great. I'm a city guy, so being able to get back into like a big metropolitan area is great for me. A lot of stuff to do, a lot of places to eat.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying it. Great weather.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How the transition coming from Colorado State the last couple of years? I know you've been in other spots, Tarleton and whatnot, but what's the comp from like Colorado State, Fort Collins to Sacramento?
It's been good. Colorado State, Fort Collins was a great place. A lot of great people there. But I'm enjoying my time in Sacramento. Obviously getting to coordinate again, and then just having a lot of options of different places to eat and different things to do. And I've always enjoyed living in California. So, being able to get back out truly west is cool.
I'm trying to think of some longtime coaches that are here. Coach Richardson, Coach Frescas. Yep. Did they remind you about the Hornet game in 2022?
Yeah, they did. They did. That was a tough one. That was when we first got to Colorado State, and we were trying to get things going, and Sacramento State was already kind of rolling at that point.
Yeah.
And they took it to us pretty good. It was kind of a wake-up call for us, early in our tenure there.
Yeah. So how'd you get here? How did your connections? I know all you guys know each other, but how did it land here with Coach Marion?
So obviously, just been at Colorado State, and Coach Marion was at UNLV, competed against each other. We were fortunate we weren't fortunate because we didn't win the game, but we were fortunate for my future's sake. After the game, he said that we were one of the teams that gave the go-go offense one of the. It was a tough. It was a tough game from an offensive standpoint, just dealing with some of the things we did defensively. And I was fortunate. We had some mutual people that we knew. We talked about what we did at Colorado State, and I told him to add on to some of the stuff that we did at Colorado State. I was a multiple guy.
Mm-hmm.
I run a lot of different defenses, and that really intrigued him. So, and I knew that would be something that he would be interested in, because when you look at the go-go offense, it has a lot of different layers and aspects to it, and we're kind of the same way on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to create a lot of problems for offenses.
Is that what we can expect, Hornet fans, this year of the defense? Multiple looks, havoc?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how would you describe your defense?
I always tell people it's a personnel-based, man-to-man, beat-the-block defense.
Mm.
So, we try to match up personnels where we create advantages for ourselves and try to create disadvantages for the offense. And then we try to eliminate problems that offenses are trying to present to our defense. So that's kind of like the whole mindset. So we're going to throw a lot of different personnel packages at people, a lot of schematics, but we try to do it in a way where it's not overly complicated for our players, but it feels like we're doing a lot to the offense.
Mm. Yeah, watching camp, I've seen you got a lot of different guys in, a lot of different reps. Is that the plan to go on the depth chart?
Yeah, so my whole thought process and the whole direction of where football is going, people want to see points, so offenses are trying to play faster and faster and faster. So I decided to be one of those guys that wasn't going to fight the wave of where football was going, but figure out a way to play good defense with offenses trying to go fast. One of the things I take pride in is when I was at Tarleton State, we had a couple years where we took more snaps than anybody in the nation, and we were top 5 in just about every defensive category.
Mm.
But that was where being multiple really helped us. We didn't have to play guys for 70, 80, 90 snaps, but we kind of broke the game up with like different defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So it puts a lot of stress on the coaches, but I think it's really exciting for the players, it's convenient for the players, and it puts them in position to make a lot of plays.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea behind it.
Are there a couple of guys that Hornet fans from your defense, whether it's D-line, edge rushers, linebackers, all the way through, that you're really counting on as kind of the leaders of your anchors of your defense?
There are. Xavier Williams has been really good. Koa Kui has been really good. Derek Houston. Really a lot of guys that's been stepping up. The one thing I've been really excited about, the depth that we have at different spots. I think that we're going to be able to present some issues with people just because of the players that we can throw out there and there not be much of a drop-off. So I've never had this type of depth. I've had good players, but this amount of depth at different positions is really exciting.
How about, I'm sure you're anxious to be done going against the go-go offense, ready to face another team?
Oh, yeah. This week has been exciting because we starting to really put our major focus on South Dakota State now. That's going to be a tough opponent.
Yes.
You can't get really a tougher opponent than that starting the season off. But it's been going back to spring ball. It's been a challenge every day going against the go-go offense, even on the days that, quote unquote, maybe people felt like we got the best of them. It's been a stressor every day. So it's one of those things that you're thankful that the guys played well and you was able to deal with the issues they presented that day. But it's definitely tough.
So heard a story from a camp story about Coach Murch not talking to you guys on the defensive side. What's your side of that story?
I love Coach Murch. So like all throughout camp, I was giving him a hard time, trying to get him to break and get him to talk to me. I got him to talk to me a couple times. He might not admit to it, but he did.
Did you know what he was up to?
Well, he told me before because me and Murch are good friends, and he told me before we started camp, he's like, I just want to give you a heads up. I'm not going to talk to you during camp. And, so I told him, I was like, well, I'm
or
gonna
any of your defensive coaches.
Yeah, any of us. And, it makes it exciting as far as the competition in camp, because the one thing that's kind of it kind of goes on everywhere across the country. Like when you're in camp, it's offense versus defense. But then at some point in camp, you start trying to come together and like, okay, now we're on the same team. We want to get prepared for our opponents. We're kind of at that place now. So obviously we're back talking now. But it was it was fun for the competition and stuff that we went through in the spring and fall camp.
Well, I'm glad you're on the same side now. We wish you the best of luck, and really looking forward to the season.
Okay, appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you. All right, thanks. Well, I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about the 25 season for Sacramento State with the defensive coaches, special team coach as well. And look, they've been putting in a lot of work. It's been their mantra, just work. They're getting ready for the start of this season, and we're trying to get you ready for it as well. So that's this week's edition. Join us next week for another edition of the Stingers Up podcast when we focus in on the offense, and we'll also hear from brand new head coach Brendan Marion. Thank you so much for checking out another edition of the Stingers Up Sacramento State Football Podcast.